So first of all, congratulations on this film.
Thank you.
So how much pizza do you guys actually have while making this film?
Oh, too much. But is there ever too much
Is there-
pizza?
No.
No, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
As long as it's good pizza.
We had very good pizza on this set every single day.
So Vinay, what was the inspiration behind this rom-com, which obviously involved a lot of pizza?
Well, pizza, of course. But it was just family, love for one's community, Toronto, of course. Romeo and Juliet, that I've always been so fascinated by, and that I always wanted to do it as a modern day comedy. And just the way it all came together. I had all these ideas running in my head, and I had this little one-page story that I started to flesh out, and I was lucky enough to meet Donald, who reacted to the material, and we were able to kind of bring it to life now.
Donald, you're a veteran when it comes to making rom-coms, so what were some of the key ingredients that stood out to you when you read the script?
Like I told Vinay when he sent it to me, he says, I'm going to be looking for certain elements that attract me to a movie. Does it make me laugh? A given. But does it make me cry? Do I get emotionally involved? Does it say something, does it not just entertain, but say something about the human condition? Does it elevate us in some way? I think, and plus the fact that the journey itself, well, everyone can look at this poster and say, I wonder if they end up together at the end of the movie, right? So it's the journey that's got to keep us on the edge of our seats. It's got to keep having twists and turns of, wow, maybe they're not going to be together at the end of the movie.
And you know, I'll say that romantic comedies are one of the hardest genres, right? Because everybody knows the ending of it, right? Because you see the poster.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really about, and that's what was so great about working with Donald, is it's about creating those moments, and it's about taking the audience on this journey that is so fun, so relatable, so emotional, and I really think we've hit all those marks in this movie.
Yeah, you guys definitely have. When writers usually, when they write the script, they usually draw from some experience from their own life. So was there something culturally or even familiarly that to you?
You know, a lot of people ask me and they say, being Indian, how did you write and come up with this idea for a big Italian family? I said, we're all the same. Indians, Italians, families, we're all full of melodrama and guilt and emotional blackmail. So those are all common elements that unite us all. So really it was just, there was a lot of stuff drawing from my own inspiration, from things that my parents have said or things that my aunts or uncles have said, and so it's kind of peppered in there.
Okay. And Donald, now you've worked with two generations of Robert's women. Everyone's Julia from Mystic
Yes.
Pizza and now Emma, so what was that like?
Well, that was part of the appeal. I mean, interestingly enough, on Mystic Pizza, which was 30 years ago, and my first film, and even though there were a lot of, should we say, name stars of that day that wanted those parts, I had to go to Sam Goldwyn, the producer, and say, do you mind if I cast this with unknowns? Because that way, when the people see these characters, there's no baggage. Oh, that's the girl from One Day at a Time. That's the girl from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were so many terrific actresses out there. In the case of Julia, I was 3 weeks away from shooting, and still didn't have my Daisy, and she came in and auditioned, and I remember standing next to the camera and just going, found her. I think I was the last one to get her to work for scale. This is all the girls worked for. I think it was what they call Schedule F.
Yeah.
And now, 30 years later, when I found out that Emma was interested, that just was the frosting on the cake.
Right.
She's a terrific, talented young actress with so much bubbling life and unpredictability.
She has so much energy. She's so
Um,
spontaneous, and it's it's great. Just the whole vibe that Emma creates on the set is just so much. She's always laughing, and she just has this perkiness about her. She's always just up and ready to go, and it's amazing.
And obviously, we love seeing a lot of Toronto in the film. So, which was your favorite filming location?
You know, it's funny. We had to, like a lot of movies do, that you make up your little Italy by shooting here and shooting here and shooting there. We had one of our, penultimate scenes was our taste of Little Italy with the pizza contest at the end, which we actually shot in the distillery district. That was a place where, because it's pedestrian only, we didn't have to close down the streets in order to shoot there. And it's an iconic, beautiful old brick building.
Hats off to Donald on his vision on that, because when we went through College Street, and College Street had its own charm, but cinematically, when we first went on the scout and Donald saw the streets of Distillery and just the architecture, and it has that old world charm to it, and he's like, we're gonna make this all into Little Italy, and I'm thinking from like, oh god, how much is this gonna cost? But it is worth it. It looks huge and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that. And lastly, in the film, there's a secret ingredient to making the perfect pizza. So, what's the secret ingredient to making the perfect rom-com?
Cheese.
extra cheese.
Good answer. That's a good answer. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.